Domingo. Okay, okay. I think owning a pet can be a really therapeutic thing. And dogs are really fun. And cats are nice sometimes. But they're energetic. Like literally my dog just... Dogs are really fun, but there's something really special about reptiles and amphibians and fish. Although I haven't really gotten very much into fish. They're not as exciting, but that's kind of the beauty of it. It's like they're a really easy way to meditate. I actually used to work in a preschool in a class of 4 to 5-year-olds. I brought my bearded dragon in to live at the school because I saw how it helped the kids. So if somebody was having a bad day, I would just invite them, hey, come sit next to me and let's look at the dragon. But the catch was that if you want to see the dragon move, you have to be so still and quiet and calm. And just by watching the animal, they were able to bring themselves kind of to this meditative, peaceful place. And I think that's awesome for everybody. I think everybody should have a reptile. Okay, long story short, I am turtle sitting for my aunt. She has 2 really baby turtles. Jeez, they're so cute. But she commissioned me to make them a turtle box because they are going to outgrow their enclosure. So this is the process. And I was so excited to do this project. I had always kind of dreamed about a coffee table terrarium, and this was just the perfect opportunity to actually do it. I made it all out of recycled or upcycled materials. I found this bookshelf and it had that really flimsy backing on it, so we cut a piece that was the right size of plywood and drilled it on the bottom, because the last thing I want to happen is the bottom falling out, because this enclosure is really heavy. So that's another thing, is that I wanted it to be able to move around. You could also get a screen and put them outside sometimes to kind of soak up the natural sunlight. Reptiles and amphibians need UVB light. It's just like us. If you don't go outside, you can't really break down key vitamins and minerals. So I thought it'd be cool for them to be able to roll outside. As far as the UVB and heat sources go, we cut a piece on the side that I put an old upcycled screen from a window on so that they could get their light. You can't really put UVB through glass. Something about the glass kind of filters it out. So they needed direct access to the bulb, and also it provides some ventilation, which is nice. In building this whole thing, Gabe would not let me cut the wood, so he kind of got roped into all of this too. And thank goodness, because it came out so good. I was really happy. I happened to just find a piece of glass that was the right size for it, so I got really lucky there. I didn't have to commission anybody to cut a piece of glass. All of the plants on the inside are edible for box turtles. It's really important, if you are making a terrarium, that you research all the plants that you put in there, and also the substrate. Like, at first I bought cedar chips, and then I looked it up and realized that cedar is not good for them. So I ended up going with this coconut brick thing. It expands in water, so that's really cool. It's very compact when you're not using it, and then you just soak it in some water and it expands. It's made out of coconut, so if they eat it, it's not too big of a deal, because sometimes they do accidentally ingest whatever is in their tank. They do have a little burrowing den because these turtles spend a lot of time burrowing, especially when they're young. They naturally just kind of want to hide away. You have to be careful with underneath heating, whether it is a heat pad or a heat rock. They can easily burn themselves. So at first I had like a whole waterfall situation, because I was like kind of like an all or nothing person. But then I realized that these babies are so tiny. I watched one of them flip itself over on the tiniest rock, and I was just like, this is a liability. If they flip over into the water and can't get out and drown, that would be like really bad. So I took that out, and when they're older and bigger and stronger, can put in something else, because box turtles can't actually swim. So you have to make sure that the water is never above where their head can be. Honestly, I don't know how reptiles survive in the wild, because they're so, like, finicky. I've always had reptiles since I was a kid because I wasn't allowed to have a dog. And I found that they have personalities and can communicate quite well when you know your reptile. I think with bearded dragons, it's really easy to tell what they're thinking and feeling. Snakes, I have no clue. I'm like, what is in your mind? I don't know. I wouldn't recommend getting a reptile unless you're willing to put in some research and really look into your animal and be sure that you're gonna commit to your animal every day, because if you're not willing to clean up their cage or feed them fresh food, then they're going to probably die. They can get sick, especially when it comes to temperature. If you don't have the right temperatures, you need a hot side and a cool side of the tank. They can get sick, and you don't know that they are sick the same way that you know with mammals, because they try to hide it, and you don't really know that they're sick until the sickness is very bad. But on that note, I find taking care of another living being is a really rewarding thing. I mean, it does give me a reason to wake up in the morning. Not that I have trouble with that, but when I wake up, that's like part of my routine. It gets me out of bed kind of early, because I want to make sure that they have a nice fresh breakfast, and I change out their water, and that's the morning time is when they come out. So I get to spend some time with them and drink my coffee and kind of come into that slow, peaceful, quiet place to start my day. The zen of reptiles. You could write a whole philosophy about that, I think. Anyways, I think I'm rambling at this point, so get a reptile. Okay, bye.